Eva Mitchell stepped onto the sleek marble floors of the grandiose central library, its towering shelves lined with volumes bound in rich leather. A light rain had caught her during her brisk walk from the subway, leaving subtle patches of dampness on her softly crumpled blouse and skirt. Adjusting her small backpack, Eva entered, slightly flushed yet calm, surveying the vast space with its artfully sculpted stone archways and the silent hum of activity. She was aware of the curious and sometimes judgmental glances thrown her way as she navigated the main aisle. Staff members expertly reshelved books in their crisp uniforms, while patrons, huddled with open tomes, cast quiet yet measured looks from their tables. Despite the understated elegance of the library, Eva's damp, slightly disheveled appearance set her apart in contrast. Her simple attire drew the attention of Cynthia, a librarian whose sharply pressed suit and air of superiority were matched only by her tendency to make snap judgments. With a dismissive glance, Cynthia approached Eva without hesitation. "Are you the new assistant?" she asked, her voice edged with condescension. "The history section could use organizing," Cynthia instructed, gesturing towards the dusty, seldom-used corner of the library. Her eyes glinted with a hint of derision. "Looks like we have a good hand for tedious tasks today." Eva met Cynthia's gaze with serene composure, absorbing the unintended slight that Cynthia's words carried. "Certainly, I'll take care of that," she replied softly, allowing a hint of a knowing smile to touch her lips. With that, she gracefully turned away, leaving Cynthia in her self-assigned superiority, and headed towards the library's administrative offices, her true purpose undisclosed to all but herself. As Eva navigated the library's corridors, her wet footsteps echoing softly against the gleaming floors, she kept her demeanor calm and collected. Her response to Cynthia's assumption played back in her mind, the words crafted to neither confirm nor deny her perceived role. Turning down the hall that led to the offices, Eva maintained a steady, purposeful stride. The library boasted a labyrinth of organized chaos behind its pristine public face. Row upon row of desks and computers buzzed with employees busy managing the day-to-day operations of one of the city's largest knowledge hubs. Eva's passage through this sea of activity went mostly unnoticed, save for a few curious eyes that lingered on her trail. She halted before a frosted glass door marked Admin Offices, and gave a soft knock. The door was opened by a cheerful woman with bright eyes and a welcoming smile. "You must be Eva Mitchell," she said, stepping aside to allow Eva to pass. "Miss Hartman has been eagerly awaiting your arrival. Please, come in." Eva entered the office suite, an impressive space lined with bookshelves and warm lighting. The room oozed authority and tradition, interspersed with modern touches that hinted at progressive management. She couldn't help but feel the faint tug of déjà vu with the setup, reminiscent of the previous libraries she had renovated and revitalized. Miss Hartman, the library director, rose from behind a large oak desk, her demeanor graceful yet commanding. "Eva, we're thrilled to have you join us," she said warmly, motioning toward the plush chair opposite her. "It's not everyone who can step into a role with such expectations, but your reputation precedes you." Taking the offered seat, Eva smiled genuinely, relieved to be surrounded by authenticity and respect. "Thank you, Ms. Hartman. It's an honor to be here." "Central Library is legendary," she replied, her voice carrying a sincere tone. "I'm eager to see how I can contribute to its continued success." Ms. Hartman nodded, her eyes gleaming with enthusiasm. "We're looking forward to your leadership. Your work with digital integration and community engagement programs impressed the board immensely. And with the roadmap we've outlined, I believe there's much you can achieve here." They dived into discussions about strategic plans, Eva's vision for modernization paired with tradition, and the challenges that lay ahead. They talked of creating an inclusive environment, where the wealth of knowledge offered by the library could reach every corner of the community. Meanwhile, back in the main library floor, Cynthia was delighting in her account of the encounter with Eva. She relished recounting the experience to another staff member, punctuating her retelling with exaggerated eye rolls and disdainful tones. "Honestly, can you imagine? thinking she's ready to dive in without a proper appearance. I sent her straight to the history section. She's probably buried in dust by now, Cynthia laughed, pleasure radiating from her. A few colleagues laughed lightly, either unaware of the full situation or unwilling to challenge Cynthia's narrative. She reveled in the moment, seeing herself as a guardian of the library standards, albeit originating from her own set of skewed principles. The clock ticked closer to the hour when library staff were called to gather in the ornate reading room, a structured space built to impress and inspire. Under the grand dome that captured sunlight through its glass designs, the anticipation for the upcoming announcement swelled lightly in pockets of whispered conjecture. Eva emerged from the administrative passage, her wet clothes now drying in the warmth of the indoors, and a sense of eagerness concealed beneath her composed facade. Her conversation with Ms. Hartman had emboldened her resolve, and she was ready to step into her new shoes publicly. Cynthia, meanwhile, settled herself in the gathering, blissfully ignorant of what was about to unfold. Her satisfaction lay in the incorrect assumption that she had one-upped a newcomer, and the notion comforted her as she sat toward the middle, surrounded by co-workers. Miss Hartman took her place at the head of the room, content with her view of the fully assembled library staff, them collectively looking like characters lifted from the pages of a vibrant, real-life storybook. "Thank you all for making time for this meeting today," she began, projecting her voice clearly. "I know there's been a lot of speculation about recent changes in our management team, so I'm pleased to finally introduce you to the new head librarian." At the mention of the new head, Cynthia's attention sharpened, wondering which academic celebrity had been enticed to join their landmark institution. The momentary blissful drama of her tales about Eva were forgotten as the reality of the big announcement consumed her curiosity. Miss Hartman turned slightly, gesturing for Eva to join her. Eva stepped forward with a graceful nod, her eyes strong, overlooking the reckoning pool of faces now alight with various emotions, some lit with enthusiasm, some with surprise, some still processing the missteps of earlier judgments. "Meet Eva Mitchell," Miss Hartman introduced with pride. Eva comes to us with incredible experience, having led significant transformations in several urban library systems. Her innovative approaches in leveraging both digital advancements and community outreach are exactly what we need to project our library into the future. The room was still as Eva faced Cynthia's eyes, once hardened with dismissive judgment, now wide with disbelief and flustered recognition. Eva placed her hands lightly on the lectern, her voice echoing into the now hushed room. "Thank you, Miss Hartman," she began, genuine warmth underlining every word. "I'm honored to join such a prestigious and culturally significant library. We've tremendous possibilities ahead of us, and I'm excited to work together to embrace the rich history of this institution while paving new paths that foster access and equity." She continued, outlining the core values she wished to augment: collaboration, resource accessibility, and preserving the library's essence while ushering modern methods. Eva spoke eloquently about her past triumphs and the vision she had for the library, never once faltering from the poised authority she rightfully owned. The staff, their initial waves of shock having settled into contemplation, began to shift their unspoken judgments to admiration for the astute professional who commanded the room with ease. Even those who had been swept along with Cynthia's earlier dismissive laughter now reconsidered in the light of Eva's confident mandate. As Eva concluded her speech, the lingering whispers among staff subsided into attentive silence, each librarian now cognizant of the new dynamic at play. The initial shock of her appointment had faded, replaced by a palpable curiosity about Eva's vision and leadership. Her introduction promised not just changes in policy, but a refreshing empowerment that had been absent, something unmistakable in the earnestness of her words and the steadiness of her gaze. Cynthia sat amidst her colleagues, shifting uncomfortably, her earlier derision now conspicuously absent. Her mind was a tempest of thoughts, embarrassment, disbelief, and a slowly dawning realization of her earlier mistake. The transformation from a prideful sense of superiority to a humbler reflection had not been instantaneous. Rather, it was like watching the inevitability of a tide pulling everything it touched into perspective. Her eyes, still wide, were trained on Eva, attempting to reconcile the seemingly mundane woman she had dismissed with the capable leader now at the helm. Miss Hartman took back the stage after Eva, extending her hand to the new head librarian before addressing the now captive audience. We are privileged to have Eva's expertise leading us. I expect everyone will offer her the utmost collaboration and support in her new role. The directive was clear, there was no ambiguity in Miss Hartman's tone. A few heads nodded, individuals turning to exchange whispered conversations tinged with reconsidered respect, their expressions morphing from skeptical amusement to contemplative acknowledgement. Leaving the podium, Eva mingled among the congregation of library staff, her poise unwavering as she spoke with individuals, deliberately addressing both senior and junior members alike. Her interactions were cordial and prompted intrigue, deliberate in remembering names that soon would weave into this new chapter of her professional journey. As Eva navigated the room, Cynthia's path intersected with hers, an inevitability that required less than a moment to orchestrate but was as unavoidable as dawn breaking. Cynthia's face, still holding the hue of embarrassment, burned under an invisible spotlight. Up close, her earlier bravado melted into difficult humility. "Ms. Mitchell, Eva, I owe you an apology. My earlier behavior," Cynthia's words stumbled out, her voice low enough to keep their exchange private. She dared not meet Eva's eyes, but their proximity demanded acknowledgement, deserved or not. Eva observed Cynthia for a moment, the weight of their earlier interaction now a footnote in the broader narrative unfolding. Kindness softened her edges, an intricate tie between professionalism and the subtle power of grace. "Thank you, Cynthia," Eva replied, her voice steady without condescension. "I'm here to work collaboratively. We all have roles to play." Nodding, Cynthia swallowed, returning with shaky acceptance that resonated deeply in the silence following Eva's composed response. Redemption had been given, repercussion remained a shadow soon dispelled by approaching obligations. The meeting room gradually emptied after the announcement, employees resuming their duties, but with conversations pulsating with renewed energy. Their muted exchanges focused on imagining the forthcoming changes Eva would shepherd, open discourse now housed in the safety of quiet excitement. Cynthia found herself caught in a current of staff, blending into their migration back to work. Her mind grappled with her reassignment, instructions to report to HR had punctuated the closure of the gathering. Her feet found the path instinctively, leading her toward the internal HR department where outcomes awaited. Inside the HR office, the environment bore both the sterility and comfort of administrative bureaucracy, binders lining walls like soldiers in formation, paperwork pieced systematically upon desks. Cynthia felt exposed, a lone entity in this nexus of policy and procedure. A human resources officer met with Cynthia, reviewing the situation with expected neutrality. Professionalism dictated that decorum be maintained, yet the undercurrent of disappointment was palpable. Cynthia understood her unprofessional conduct had been duly noted during prior interactions. It had culminated now in this inevitable assessment. The importance of respect and decorum in this environment cannot be overstated, the HR officer explained, providing a composed rationale. Reassignment to a role focusing on customer service training was governed by necessity. The transitional tasks required adaptation, realigning her expertise with expectations of continued excellence. Despite the formal framework of the exchange, Cynthia acknowledged the repercussions accepted but not fully anticipated. She stood bolstered by the knowledge her trajectory had not collided with outward termination. This wasn't an end, merely a beginning from a new vantage point. Eva, meanwhile, transitioned into procedural operations, systemic evaluation providing the jigsaw that settled around her leadership over the following days. Her presence became a soothing pulse that ran through the heart of the library, the authority of her role melding seamlessly into the daily practices that defined the institution. Among the staff, discussions of progress replaced whispers of doubt, backed by the credibility Eva founded in her strategic vision. Systems of access expanded, inclusive frameworks evolved, and Eva's emancipating influence began threading through the heart of the library's historic persona. Cynthia's new role, daunting yet strangely liberating, provided ample opportunity for growth within its parameters. Propelled by determinism and a fervent wish for redemption, she applied newfound focus on engaging with patrons, extending empathy she had previously curtailed under loftier preferences. Her transition was bittersweet but essential, realignment prescribed by both circumstance and opportunity. In the days that followed the pivotal announcement, Eva moved deftly through challenges and triumphs alike. She embodied leadership suffused with humanism and discipline, keeping her eye on broad horizons while remaining accessible to the individuals who shared her industry. Through her leadership, trust grew solid, rooted deep within the library's enriched ground as resourcefulness replaced resistance, mutual respect trumped hasty scorn. Eva's introduction ushered an era of incisive progress within the historic walls, where ancient wisdom and modern innovation intertwined, knowledge shared without hierarchy, founded on genuine collaboration. Weeks slipped by as Eva Mitchell settled into her role, the library atmosphere infused with a fresh sense of purpose. Her leadership brought both subtle and sweeping changes, each chosen with the intention of enhancing the library's offerings while respecting its heritage. Staff meetings now ran as collaborative sessions where ideas flowed freely, transforming theoretical plans into actionable steps. One bright morning, sunlight filtering through the large reading room windows illuminated the space, bathing it in a warm, inviting glow. Eva stood in the midst of a semicircle of eager eyes, ready to unveil new initiatives that echoed her strategic agenda. The air was alive with anticipation. It seemed each corner of the library was part of an ongoing dialogue, reshaped and revitalized by the clarity of purpose Eva offered. Today, I'd like to share with you our approach to digital integration, Eva began, deftly guiding the conversation around recent technological upgrades. With precision, she outlined plans to digitize rare collections, turning tangible history into accessible knowledge for communities near and far. For Eva, this was not only a matter of library duty but a personal mission to democratize access to information. The staff listened intently, their positive engagement unmistakable. A few shared constructive suggestions, aligning tightly with Eva's vision but adding unique perspectives worth considering. Eva nodded appreciatively, not merely orchestrating change but fostering an environment predisposed to innovation, familiarity slowly eclipsing reluctance. As she highlighted the importance of community outreach programs, the focus naturally shifted to the tangible impact her initiatives promised. Threading through discussions were stories from Eva's past transformative experiences, revealing just why her plans carried the resonance they did. Before joining Central Library, Eva had run a municipal library's Renaissance campaign, catapulting its public engagement via community-centric projects infused with digital prowess. She had not only directed but actively fielded counter-narratives about traditional roles in libraries, breaking stereotypes by embodying the hybrid leader needed to foster tomorrow's knowledge junctions. Staff members were eager to hear how institutions marked with legacy could reach new heights while Ethan, a younger librarian fresh from academia, expressed admiration for her work. "It's inspiring how you brought back community-centered values, Eva," he commented quietly, earning nods from those nearby. "This blend of tradition and innovation resonates deeply. It sparks new ideas." Eva smiled at the compliment, her gratitude manifest in her expression while her mind calculated how best to continue nurturing this dynamic synergy. "Our success lies in partnership," she replied, remaining adaptive yet respectful of our roots. "Change isn't merely architecture, it's about heart." Acknowledging her words was Cynthia, now standing silently among the group. She had observed Eva's open approach, the intricacies weaving encouragement and concerted planning into an unexpectedly organic tapestry. The journey from scorn to respect, from personal missteps toward genuine growth, had become one of Cynthia's transformative undertakings, reshaping her outlook personally and professionally. Cynthia recalled that fateful morning when Eva first stepped through the library's grand doors, seemingly mismatched with the impeccable interior. It felt lifetimes ago rather than weeks. From her early apprehensions rooted in insecurity to her current setting firmly upon redemption's path, Cynthia carried within her newfound appreciation for Eva, recognizing qualities in the head librarian that she too aspired to emulate. Encouraged by Eva's vision, Cynthia stepped forward, the subtle attention garnered in her movement sending ripples through the assembly. "Eva, your initiatives have sparked new insights in me as well," she began, her voice carrying the humility wrought from reflection. "I've realized that the library could be more than a sanctuary for books. It's a sanctuary for ideas and communities. I'd truly like to contribute to the outreach, perhaps explore networking options to engage neighborhood schools." Eva regarded her, a gentle nod signaling mutual understanding. "Thank you, Cynthia. Every perspective adds dimension to our efforts. I welcome your collaboration. We're just beginning, after all." Their interaction held promise, an acknowledged past casting supportive light upon future endeavors, neither forgetting the other's potential. It was a moment that rekindled collective resolve, inspiring hope that personal growth flourished as readily as institutional progress. As Eva navigated the complexities of leadership, the necessity of composure remained ever present. Each day, she chose practical attire, her beliefs in authenticity and observing genuine workplace dynamics persistent. She understood now how appearances could influence perception but preferred instead to prioritize expertise and action. When questioned about her choice, Eva maintained her foundations, wryly acknowledging that even an early mishap like a rain-soaked blouse could lead to heartening transformations. The library continued to evolve under Eva's stead. Woven into its fibers was the melody of cooperation and mutual respect. Sharing success through challenges spoke volumes that files or documentation could not translate alone. Together, they were creating a narrative as compelling as any bound volume lining the shelves, luring patrons into its unfolding pages. Concluding the morning's assembly, Eva turned once more to face her staff, this thriving collective. She thanked them for their commitment before inviting further suggestions, urging them to speak openly in service of constructive solutions. Their applause, a reciprocal gesture of trust and appreciation, resounded warmly, wrapping around the space like an assurance of forthcoming triumphs. As hours stretched into afternoon, and patrons filled the once quiet halls, Eva remained energized by her mission. The intuitive facades of projected ambition had long since become tangible victories founded on empathy and resolve, promises now grounded in milestones reached through shared dedication. The library pulsed vibrantly under this confident stewardship, readers and knowledge seekers drawn in by Eva's unique resonance. Just as Eva had anticipated, enacting change meant creating environments ripe with possibilities where past assumptions dissolved, leaving only the boundless, intricate potentials waiting to discover truths within every generation of library wanderers. As Eva Mitchell moved through the library's corridors that morning, there was a palpable energy in the air, a testament to the changes taking root under her leadership. The transformation was apparent not just in the upgraded infrastructure or the newly digitized archives but in the morale and enthusiasm that vibrated from each staff member. People were talking, sharing ideas, and, most importantly, collaborating. Even Cynthia, once the snobby librarian quick to judge, now contributed actively to this renaissance. Her previous cynicism was supplanted by a new sense of duty and a desire to make amends. As Eva redirected the library's focus toward community engagement, Cynthia found herself invigorated by the task of forging partnerships with local schools and neighborhood groups, channeling untapped inspirations into tangible actions. Eva watched these interactions with satisfaction. Her leadership philosophy, one entwined with humility, grounded in action, and open to empowerment, was coming alive through her team's collective effort. She had long believed in granting autonomy, instilling a culture of respect and belief in shared vision. The library was flourishing, and with it, the people she so ardently supported. The internal meeting rooms, once sterile and impersonal, now buzzed with inventive planning and lively conversation. The upcoming month promised a slate of workshops aimed at connecting seasoned patrons with the younger, tech-savvy generation, a bridge Eva had emphasized as pivotal for future growth. This library, with its resplendent background and ever-brightening future, stood as a confluence of history and promise. With Eva's guidance, the institution had begun to transcend its function as a mere repository of knowledge and assumed its place as an indispensable community pillar. But amidst the progress and achievements, there lingered the necessity of addressing past discord. Eva needed to close the chapter with Cynthia and usher in a new collaborative relationship, built on equality and trust. Recognizing this turning point, Eva sought a private conversation, aiming to clear any lingering clouds. In the heart of the library's expansive reading room, now mostly quiet as afternoon gave way to evening, Eva approached Cynthia, the two of them navigating through towering bookshelves. "Cynthia," Eva began, her voice steady, "I wanted to discuss how far we've both come since that first day." Cynthia met Eva's gaze, her demeanor earnest yet reflective. "I've thought about that day often," Cynthia admitted, offering a small, surrendered smile. "I regretted jumping to conclusions, misjudging you without understanding your character or your credentials." Eva nodded, acknowledging the mutual respect that had blossomed in understanding. "We all learn through experiences, Cynthia. What matters most is what we do after that learning begins. You've shown great commitment to grow and improve. Not everyone chooses that path." Cynthia smiled, warmth replacing the distance of their initial discord. "Your leadership influenced us all," she said. "Your openness inspired me to confront my assumptions and invest in building something better. For that, I'm grateful." The sincerity of Cynthia's words marked closure and new beginnings, embodying the ethos of growth through understanding, Eva's unspoken mandate. "Then it seems we both gained something invaluable," Eva responded, offering a comforting nod of solidarity. With their exchange concluded, Eva left Cynthia to her thoughts, reflecting briefly on her own path at Central Library. Her role was no longer about overseeing a physical space but about nurturing a living entity, one where each story, written or lived, flourished within a boundless realm of possibility. Back at her office, Eva sat amidst the organized chaos of papers and plans, a testament to the ongoing efforts that underscored her tenure. Though her gaze settled on a recently completed strategic proposal, her mind drifted momentarily over the many chapters she'd become an integral part of, the ink drying on her most recent, transformative editions. As she finished her paperwork, a gentle rapping at her door disrupted the calm. Ethan stood by the threshold, eager to report on the afternoon's success, excitement lighting his features. "The young patrons loved the coding workshop," he announced happily. "There's real interest in extending our digital sessions." Eva offered a congratulatory smile. In that simple, potent interaction, she recognized the nucleus of it all, the catalyst for the growth and harmony Central Library now reveled in. "That's wonderful to hear, Ethan. Our aim to bridge generational knowledge is only just beginning." These strides demonstrated the new culture she had fashioned, a testament to the library's openness in exploring unfamiliar realms framed by experience and progress. Her heart brimmed with joy, each milestone achieved collectively signifying an anchor settled solemnly but with fervor. The day wound down as Eva prepared to leave the library, her museum of tall stories and softer moments encased where wisdom met kindred souls. As she walked through the hallowed hallways and towards the exit, employees gathered, parting ways with friendly exchanges and bright sentiments resonating through smiles shared within the steady hum of waning evening routine. Yet one figure lingered, standing near the grand entrance, Cynthia once more, this time with eyes reflecting warmth nurtured by newfound understanding. Signing off from her day, she watched Eva depart, an unspoken promise written between them, not requiring words. And as Eva stepped into the twilight gleam beyond library bounds, the lightness of conviction elevated her resolve. Each step she took marked newfound territories of opportunity anchored resolutely in learned experience. In taking the mantle of authority, Eva ushered Central Library into a new dawn, the stature unrestrained, backed by roots planted firmly in legacy yet budding eternally toward the stars. Eva's exchange with Cynthia, the welcome buzz among staff, every patron drifting contentedly within their shared space left a tapestry intricate but interconnected. Eva's leadership encapsulated both continuity and innovation, the dawn she forged, one of radiant transformation, assured in its own quiet dignity.